August, and what's even gladdened my heart more was that it is non-oil revenue that we're actually getting. That signals that, yes, we are gradually diversifying our economy. But just opposing that with the state of the economy or level of disposable income and purchasing power of Nigerians, that is another conversation. I think if we can sustain this trajectory, it might lead to a positive outcome in the long run.
Okay, so let's look at it from the perspective, because you picked on the keyword, disposable income. The president has done his chest beating, saying we've met the targets. But I want you to give some perspective to that area of external borrowing, which is the key aspect, which some say the posterity of Nigerians to the fourth generation have been borrowed away. But the government says we're borrowing so that we can finance projects. If you finance projects and the people are hungry, as an economist, how can we reconcile this?
Right, there are two different things, and that's why as an economist, we always canvass for borrowing for a project. So when you are borrowing, borrowing is not bad at all. You can see bigger economy also doing that, but what are you actually borrowing for? And that's the key words. Though, if you look at this government as well, for me, I didn't even expect them to borrow at all, simply because you recall that at the inception, this government removed fuel subsidy, also flowed in. So everything that actually cost the government was actually, you could also see the removal of subsidies, even electricity and all those things. So I expect them to have more money. Actually, they did not deny that they have more money that they're actually giving to the state. But borrowing for a capital project is what we expect. Even for other sundry, we wouldn't want to hear that. But as it is now, I think that's just like what WTO DG said last time, that you may be stabilizing the economy. It may appear better in the face, but what about people's purchasing power? And that's why she's canvassing for social safety net for some people in Nigeria, which is quite important at this point in time.
Okay, what difference does it make if the federal government says it's not borrowing internally, yet we have some states doing emergency borrowing for some local government? Is that not, also part of the problem that should be solved by President Tinubu?
That is an aberration, because if the federal government is boasting that it's not borrowing and the states are borrowing, from my findings, I think the borrowing is coming down seriously because there is more money for the states. So I wouldn't know why they have to go camp in hand borrowing again. So I think this onus is on the president to now caution the state governments not to go ahead to borrow, because by the time they borrow, it also amounts to Nigerian borrowings in the long run. So I don't see reason why they should. And the president also said he will not borrow internally. He did not say he will not borrow externally, and that's another thing we need to look at. Though there's a borrowing plan for 2025 to 2026 already, which is external. But by and large, I think we should reduce our borrowing so that we can actually focus more and also challenge us to do more in terms of generating internal revenue, like we are realizing that. Because last year, the revenue was around 14.6 trillion. But this year, as at August, we are doing about 20.59, as an income. That's 40.5% difference, which is a good one. So I think if we can sustain this trajectory, it's definitely going to help Nigeria.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us on the News Hour, and indeed for your thoughts and time. We've been speaking to Elias Aliu, an economist and development expert.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's move on with